Welcome back, Paul Catalina and Steven Simcox. And Steven, we did not do game previews for Montana State and New Mexico or SMU at Nevada. And I apologize to those fan bases. Maybe I'll get to them tomorrow. But those are our 3 games this week. And thanks to Jack, who just sent a really cool website, collegefootball.cfb.guide, which has the all of the games, TV times and networks scheduled out week in and week out.
Jack is so talented.
He really is.
So versatile.
Yes. I think we pay him too much, but that's just because of his attitude.
Just because he's an agent, you know.
Look, sometimes he's got an attitude that makes you think he should make half as what he makes. I know that that's not just or polite in society, but just saying that some days he has an attitude that's like $1 million attitude. Some days he has a 1931 minimum wage attitude. Just saying.
Before we get to the wheel, Paul, go into your Steve Kornecki corner. We got early returns here on our Coach of America poll. This is it's 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
We're starting to see some states come in.
I should have set it up
put on the touch screen.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Well, so far right now, as the votes are coming in, Dan Lanning leads the poll at 50%.
Wow, and the West Coast vote's not even in.
Yeah, the West Coast vote's not even in.
My goodness.
Marcus Freeman is in last at 17% and Lane Kiffin at 33%. So
if you're in line to vote, stay in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
I've seen enough. I think Dan Lanning's going to do it.
I can't wait for Lane Kiffin to say, well, I would have won if Mike Pence had the courage.
Lane would definitely demand a recount of some sort.
All right, here we go, the Wednesday Wheel of Whimsy.
Big 12 teams.
Big 12 teams, I'm going to tell you how they win the conference.
Let's do it.
Like what has to go right for them to win the conference. And some of these teams is everything. Literally everything. They have to find, like, when they find change on the street, it has to be like a gold doubloon from a Spanish galleon. Like, that's what it will have to be.
That's how it has to go. Spin that wheel.
Oklahoma State. Alan Bowman has to play better than he even did last year. Raise his game a little bit.
Dr. Alan Bowman.
Yeah, doctor, yes. He might be a doctor 2 times over. PhD, MD, you know.
Yeah.
He might have a lawyer, too. I'm one of those guys.
Get on LinkedIn, Alan. Good job, brother.
Alan Bowman's got to play better. I think their defense and running game will be the same. I think you'll see about the same team you did last year. But if they want to win this league, legit win this league, they've got to have Alan Bowman play at the level or close to it of the elite quarterbacks in the league, of which I'm not putting him in that category. I'm putting him in the quarterback of a quarterback in this league.
Do you like their QR codes on helmet ideas?
Yeah, I guess. I
don't really know how practical it is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to have to get it off the screen for a second.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's outside the box for sure, though.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State's good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a formula that's going to travel.
Yeah.
They run the ball well. They play good defense. But, yeah, it does come down to QB for them.
Yeah. And, again, like, I don't have time to go through all the schedules because this is what makes it really difficult. But if they're going to be in the Big 12 title game and win the Big 12, like, that's the thing that has to happen. That's the consistent thing. Mm-hmm. So that's the note we're going for here is what consistent thing has to happen here. Okay. Here we spin again. Kansas. This one's easy. Jalen Daniels plays all the games. If Jalen Daniels plays all the games, I don't see any reason why this team is not in the title game.
That offense is special. Lance Leipold's a good coach. Yeah, I mean, it really does come down to Jalen Daniels' back.
Of every quarterback that's in this league, Jalen Daniels and Cam Rising are the ones I would want in the fourth quarter the most let's go make a play right now.
And the other part of that, too, is you don't have Jason Bean anymore. It was like a lifeline for you for the last few years.
But, yeah, I think their defense will be, like, it's taken steps forward every year. I think you'll see a very good Kansas team. But if Jalen Daniels is not there and they have to go to the backup, is it going to be as effective as Jason Bean? I don't know. But if they want to be a playoff team, Jalen Daniels has to be healthy.
Yeah.
Bottom line, he's the guy who can make them a playoff team. Iowa State. This one's harder. they can't really have injuries. Like they can't have like a big one, I don't think. But they have two really good wide receivers. They got a really good running back. Rocco Becht in his second year as the starter, should be even more fun to watch this year. Their defense is going to be good, but they have to be more consistent on offense than they've been, which I think they will be with these returning starters and the playmakers they have, especially in the passing game. But as long as they can keep games close in the fourth quarter, I think they're going to win a lot of games. But I don't know if they have the overall talent to do it, to be a 10-2 team. I think they'd be close. And we're talking now that 10-2 is probably winning this league, or in the championship game for sure. We're talking about 10-2 being top of the charts. I see them at their best being 9-3, but which I think might get you in the championship game if the rest of the league goes that way. But I think you're looking at probably 2 10-2 teams that are in this championship game.
Matt Campbell had a real renaissance last year. Yeah. I mean, it kind of got to a place where I was like, maybe it was just Brock Purdy and Breece Hall being really good. And, they lost their quarterback before the season. Rocco Becht came in and did a nice job. So I don't really think this is a title-winning team. I feel like they're going to be solid. But, yes, it comes down to being more dynamic on offense and kind of continuing that, not really a rebuild, but getting back to where they were in 2019, 2020.
They need to have it where it's consistent.
Yes.
And not where they have like a good couple years and a down couple years and all of that, which it's more consistent than it was because they'd have like 2 good years and then
40 bad ones.
And then 40 years of
just wilderness.
Just, oh, this guy's good. Have you seen our middle linebacker? Yeah, we like him. What about the other linebackers?
We got a good punter.
Well, they're on the wrestling team too, so good for them.
They can't commit the time needed. Kansas State.
They're Kansas State. Avery Johnson is special, and again, people get tired of me talking about like how good he is. He's very, very, very good. What they need though is for the passing game to be a legit threat, and that's going to be the biggest question because there are going to be games where there's going to be a defense out there that doesn't let him get loose, that has a good plan for him. That now that they've seen through the middle of the season, there's going to be 6 games on tape of him, and 7, 8, 9 games somebody might go, here's what we're going to do, and we're not going to let him get loose. And the threat that he is mostly right now with his feet because he's so fast. But if you take that away, can he throw you to a win? Do you have receivers that can win, those jump balls and things like that, that a quarterback like him that is in the, Mahomes, Manziel, when things break down, it's even worse. When the defense does its job perfectly right at first, it's not necessarily the best thing because if you don't get it, or near perfect, if you don't get him, then he's out and he's making things up and it's the worst. If you have a defense that can contain that part of it, then they'll struggle. But I've picked them to win the league. So I think they'll be good on both sides of the ball where it's just going to be tough to beat them.
I think they'll end up being good enough in the trenches for the league that it might not matter, but you did lose Cooper Beebe and Katori Levison. Those are big losses. Avery Johnson's a special athlete, though. And, the way that they're so consistent, having a dynamic player like that at that position is sort of like the Colin Klein days again, where it's like, man, you have a special QB along with all the kind of nuts and bolts around him being very solid. And I haven't had a chance to mention this because I haven't been here lately, but are we as a nation ready for Will Howard to be the starting quarterback on a team that is in the national title race?
Yeah, I don't know.
The Ohio State team is loaded, man.
Yeah.
And then it's Will Howard. And I like Will Howard, but it's just kind of crazy that he's going to be the guy.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Here we go. West Virginia.
If West Virginia beats Penn State, I think I would move them up three notches on my chart because I think that means they'll be a very confident team, and they've got a quarterback also in that mold of like, all right, let's see what happens when it breaks down. His passing has gotten better and better each year. They need to establish some threats on the outside. But I think both sides of the ball are balanced enough to where they could contend for this thing. They really could. And it's just about developing those young players. Also, keeping those running backs and Garrett Green healthy, because it's going to be built around the run and quarterbacks who run a lot. This goes for same for Avery Johnson. As we talk about Jalen Daniels, that means that they get hit more.
Yeah.
So Garrett Green's going to get hit more than a quarterback who doesn't run as much. Can they keep those guys healthy? If C.J. Donaldson is healthy the whole year, and they've got those two backs together, kind of thunder and lightning, and then the quarterback, that's a rushing attack is going to be a problem for everyone.
I'm kind of sensing regression for West Virginia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they surprised some people last year. I think Garrett Green's solid, but I could see people exposing him a little bit more. And you just wonder, I like Neil Brown a lot. Garrett mentioned it in that first segment. Like, he's a fun dude to rally around, but do you see some drop off from last season, kind of that nobody believes in us? Hey, let's all get around the coach and save his job. I don't know. I think some of that could have overinflated expectations for them, but I think they're a solid football team. And this is the type of league where they could thrive if they can run the football successfully, like you said.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like they can. And like, Gibbons is their like, he's not even, C.J. Johnson's not necessarily running back one. I just think that with a guy who can be just such a pounder like that,
right,
that you can get into the fourth quarter and just be like, all right, well, try to tackle this guy 10 times. Good luck with that.
Yeah, and just move the chains during the game too.
Yeah, that's something that they'll have. Oh, hey.
It just landed on Arizona.
Wow. I mean, that's the one I wanted. I was thinking about them for like 2 spins.
TV magic.
Yeah, there we go. Arizona, fun quarterback, great wide receiver. Another guy that they have at wide receiver, Montana Lamonius Craig, is someone I'm curious to see playing the Big 12 as well. They took some hits on defense in the transfer portal, but they did maintain Chikario Davis, which had helped them a ton. In the secondary, they've got to get after the passer. They've got to create havoc on defense. I think their offense will be fine. But can they win games on defense? That's the biggest thing is that, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Iowa State can all win games on defense. Can Kansas win a game on defense if they have to? Can West Virginia win a game on defense if they have to? Can Arizona win a game on defense if they have to? I think those are, of the teams we've talked about, like that's a question that, because you're going to have to win a game playing differently than you normally do at least once. Yeah,
I think the lack of consistency is just going to be the biggest thing that hurts them here, or lack of continuity as opposed to the other teams in the league. But I feel like they have the best quarterback in the league, and that, maybe Jalen Daniels, but Noah's a good player, and that makes a huge difference. Like, that can win you a few games. So if that gets you over the hump in 1 or 2 of these ball games, and suddenly you could find yourself in Arlington, I definitely don't feel like it's a stretch that we could see Arizona there at the end of the season playing for a Big 12 title.
Oh, we have a shift in the voting real quick, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Lane
Kiffin is at 41% now and leads. Marcus Freeman and Dan Lanning in a dead heat for second at 29% each.
What a swing.
Yeah, huge swing.
The young people logged on late.
Yeah, exactly.
Mail-in votes are coming in.
Yeah, so we've got a swing. So
there you go.
All right. Is the floor tilted a certain way over here? Utah. What Utah has to do is be Utah again. Mm-hmm. Cam Rising healthy. Their defense is going to punish you. Stay healthy at the skill positions, which they didn't last year either. Like, they were banged up. But if Brant Keithy, Micah Pittman, and Cam Rising all stay healthy and that running game gets after you, I wish they had Sione Vaki this year. He's with the Lions, and he might wind up being their, getting some carries there. Like, it was barely a running back last year. Like, he's
how good he is.
How good he was going to be and how athletic. I wish, again, he would have stayed another year so we could have seen him play running back and safety for Kyle Whittingham with Cam Rising back. But look, you do what you do, and you go. But I think Utah is not going to have a lot of problems. I really don't.
No, I think it's just all about Cam and how quickly he can get acclimated to playing ball again.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a good, a couple of their tougher matchups, too, are at home, which Rice-Eccles is a tough place to play.
Yeah, it is.
All right. I'm going to make it like a huge spin. Like, I'm going to really whip this.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
Did you just break?
I think I just broke the thing. Oh, yeah, it's broken.
All right.
All right, well.
Let's go with Baylor, BYU, Cincy, Houston, and Arizona State.
These are all teams that everything has to go absolutely perfectly.
Perfectly right, yeah.
Like, every one of them has the same kind of issues. Baylor has the best shot of all these teams to jump out of it because they've got a coaching staff that's been there. They've got some players that have been there. I'm really sad about this,
wheel situation.
Wheel situation. I guess we got to get another. I mean, it's not my fault. It's shoddy.
Those four.
Paid for it.
Those five teams are like the wheel right now, just a little bit broken. Gonna need some. Gonna need some TLC.
That's the 1931 minimum wage attitude I was
Jack
talking
just
about.
walked out. He's so like you thought you were mad. Jack left the studio. Christian Bale over here just yelled at us and then walked away.
Yeah, I mean that's that attitude I'm talking about.
It's like Shia LaBeouf stepped in the studio. All right, Colorado.
Look. Colorado. Block and tackle. 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 That's what they need to do. They were horrible at blocking and tackling. It's almost as if they're coached by a guy who never in his career blocked and or tackled.
Yeah, it's never good when your best player is like, hey, our offensive line sucks in this game. It's just like real life.
Yeah. So
all right.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. Block and tackle.
TCU, be nice. You don't have to be nice.
They've got to find their mojo. Like they got to find they need continuity. I mean, obviously Josh Hoover's going to have to be what Sonny Dykes keeps saying he is.
I hope I'm wrong. They have issues in the trenches.
Yeah,
there's no way to scheme around.
I don't like. Yeah, I mean they've got to block and tackle too, but I think that they'll be probably better prepared for it.
They'll be,
but I think that this is a year away from me being comfortable going. Yeah, they're
ready to go.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
Okay, Texas Tech.
Oh look, block and tackle. Keep your quarterback healthy.
Yeah.
If Baron Morton plays most of the games, you're going to see a team that's probably going to contend. But if they have to keep going through quarterbacks and then, hey, true freshman who is almost ready but not quite, you're going in and it's going to hurt. It's try telling a third quarterback in the year oh no, nothing bad's going to happen. No, just watch those two guys. These guys are getting their ass kicked. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that.
Well, it's always a tough balance, but I also think Joey's kind of got to step in and be like, Zach Kitley, you need some help here. But let's wrap up with UCF.
We wrap up with UCF. And, I mean, this broken wheel it's going to break me. So, UCF, they got to tackle. I think they'll block well, but they've got to learn how to win a game on defense. Mm-hmm. They have to learn how to win a game on defense. KJ Jefferson should be fun to watch. They've got wide receivers. They got running backs. They're loaded on offense. They have some talent on defense, that's for sure. But they have to scheme it up right, and they have to be able to win games on defense, which last year they could not do. It was basketball on grass if they won. It was basketball on grass a lot of times if they lost. Sometimes it was basketball on grass and they lost and nobody told them it was basketball on grass. They had this wild kind of season, first season of the Big 12. But I think if everything goes well, last Thursday, I was on a UCF podcast, and one of the hosts was in the doldrums about he was worried about everything. And, I could tell he's been hurt, but I was like, man, from the outside looking in, I'm
pretty
bullish.
solid. Yeah.
I mean, he was like, yeah, I'm worried about KJ Jefferson. I'm like, I'm not. You seen that dude? He's like, yeah, but he was inconsistent in Arkansas. So was everyone.
He didn't fit the scheme. The scheme did not fit him last year at all.
He is who he is. You got to work within it. But there's an offense that works with him.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's how strong I am. I broke the wheel.
That's right. Garrett, put a QR code up so we can start a GoFundMe for a new wheel.